Hey friends, so we are on the last video so I could show you how to finish up your little family of mice or hedgehogs or whatever it is you decide to make. So I have 3 finished here. Here's this little guy, okay, and I finished him with a little tail that's string, and his little whiskers are made out of toothpicks. Then this is the big one, and the difference here is that I didn't paint his nose. I cut out a little piece of construction paper to put on his nose because his nose was a little funky. I didn't quite make it smooth enough, so I just covered it up with that. And this guy just painted his nose. This guy is not quite finished because he needs his whiskers, so I'll get to that, but I painted his nose and I gave him a tail. And this guy needs everything, so I'm going to show you how to give him his whiskers and give him his tail. You will need a grown-up to help you with this. You are going to use a push pin again, and you're going to poke a little hole where you want his whiskers to go. So I poked 2 holes there, and remember how I showed you to paint the toothpicks? So once they're dry, you can just pull them out, and this guy I used whole toothpicks for because he's bigger, but this little guy I just broke them in half, and then you can just stick them in. Okay. So I'm going to have my other 2 holes here, 1 and 2, and I will stick his little whiskers in. If you would like to have 3 whiskers on each side, that is absolutely fine. I didn't quite paint enough to make 3, so he's only going to have 2 on each side. I'm just trimming off that little end there that showed a little bit of wood. I didn't want that showing, okay? All right, now if his whiskers don't want to stay, you can always put a little dab of glue on the end and then stick it in. All right, so for the tail, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take your push pin and put a little hole back there. The tail is a little trickier. Depends on what kind of string you have. I don't have very much yarn, so I just happen to have this string. So, you know, can't really go out, so you just got to use what you have. So what you do is you poke your hole, and you might need to have, you know how sometimes at school I'll say, I know this is a little tricky, so when you get to this point, call me over and I'll help you. This is one of those times when you might have to say, hey, can someone come and help me do this? So all you're going to do is, you've poked your little hole with your push pin, just put the tail right on top of the hole, and you can just use the push pin to stick it in there. Now the other option for this, and then just put a little dab of glue on it, okay? So he'll stay in there, just put a little dab of glue on. The other option is if you have those kind of push pins that are flat, you could use that and you could just stick it in there and keep it in there. So for example, I'm talking about something like this, right? So this guy, I didn't glue it in, I just used one of these and stuck it in. So you just have to kind of use what you have, and that's what I had, so that's what I used to make his tail. Okay, so that's how you finish your mouse. Whiskers are done, tail is done, whiskers, tail. This little family is finished. Okay, so I'm going to move him to the side. All right, so I'm going to move them. And remember I said that if you didn't want to paint, oh wait, let me get to the hedgehog. So the hedgehog, remember we just stuck the toothpicks in there to make the hedgehog. To finish him off, all I did was paint his little nose, and I actually cut out paper to put in his ears because I painted them with the brown and the black, and if I would have tried to paint them over with pink, it probably would not have shown up very well. But there he is. Hello friends, how are you? And here are his quills. They're all painted, and he's ready to go. He's done. Okay. Now remember I told you that if you didn't have paint, you could decoupage. So with this mouse, the one whose tail I showed you, what I did with him is, remember I covered him with magazines, little pieces of magazine. So when he was done, I decided that he needed to have whiskers that were all different colors. So I painted the toothpicks all different colors, and I put a tiny little heart on his nose, and I made his eyes different colors just for fun. Now this guy looks kind of loose, but I guess he'll be okay. I think I would probably put a little dot of glue on there and stick him in again. Okay, so let's take a look at our bunny. So here's our bunny, and I covered the bunny with different colors of paper too. You can see he's all covered up. Now, sometimes when you make paper mache, it's hard to get everything perfectly smooth, okay? And that is just part of paper mache. It's not going to be perfect. So when I made the bunny's head, his head had a little bit of a point there that isn't perfectly round. So I kind of had to set his eye on the side. It still looks fine, but I just wanted you to know that it isn't going to be perfect, okay? And he had a really flat spot right there, so I decided that would be a good spot for his mouth, and I made it into a heart. All right, so for the bunny, I'm just going to show you how to do the whiskers for the bunny. Remember, we made a ball with aluminum foil, and then I just painted all of the whiskers. It's the same exact thing as the little mouse, so you want to think about where you want your whiskers to come out of. So I definitely want them to come out down here. So I'm just going to take my push pin, make sure you can see this, and I'm going to poke a little hole there. And if it's, I'm just going to try it and see how I like it. Okay, if it's too long, I feel like that's kind of long. What I'll do is just break part of it off like that. And we'll try again and see. Yeah, I like that better for sure. Okay, so I know I'm gonna want one sort of in the middle here, and then maybe one back here, because the other, if I do another one down here, it's getting awful close to his foot, so I might just do one back here. Okay, and then you decide what colors you want on each side, how you want to mix your colors. I know that I need to break that a little bit, so I'll just break that apart. Stick that in. Oh, I love how he's turning out. I especially love things that are unexpected. Something that, you wouldn't expect to see a bunny that looks like this. And that's what kind of makes it fun. So, as you are making this, if you are a big fan of, I don't know, race cars or whatever is something that you're really passionate about, you can cover your animal with something that reminds you of that. So let's say, for example, you have a sports team that you're especially, a big fan of. You can make your animal be the two colors of the sports team. So don't feel like you have to make everything, that one's giving me a little bit of trouble. And you see, I want you to see that happens sometimes. And so you just kind of have to go back in there. I'm just going to twirl it around a little bit more, and hopefully she'll work. It's kind of making her face sink in, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to twirl that around a little bit more. And the other thing I might do is try a different one and see if there we go. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, make it your own. It doesn't have to be realistic. Remember, it's your art, and you can make it however you want it to look. Okay, so that's why I made mine look like this, because that's just kind of my personality. I like things that are super colorful. Okay, so, there we go. We got one more to go. And hers is just a little bit tricky because if you remember, we had to put a little extra, she's made out of two hunks of paper stuck together, not just the one. Okay, so there she is. And, and I don't want to forget her tail. Okay, so let's look at her. There she is. Hello, friends. Hello. For her tail, I'm just going to glue a cotton ball on. Now, sometimes you can find colored cotton balls. That would be super fun, but not today because we are all at home and I don't happen to have any. So I'm just going to put that one on, and that is super cute. All right, so that is how you finish your creatures. And I wanted to say, so let's say you do something like this and you make a whole bunch of them. Wouldn't it be super fun to make them some cheese or you could take a shoebox and make a little house for them and make some little furniture out of cardboard and things like that. So once you're finished making your critters, maybe you want to make a home for them. Maybe you want to make a little food dish and some food for them, just for fun. It'd be so cute. So, ladies and gentlemen, I miss you so, so much. You can't even believe how much I miss you. And please send me pictures of whatever it is that you make, okay? Because I'm so excited to see them. Bye! Oh, and I'll be posting another video soon. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I'm dreaming something up. Bye! Bye-bye!